G'day everyone, I'm Ben and this is Counterfeit Christianity. How's it going? Today I want to talk about this idea of dreams and desires. It's been coming up a little bit in conversations that I've had with people, and the idea of having dreams and desires and that they are actually good is something that I began to understand many years ago when I first started coming along this journey of understanding that God is my daddy. So I wanted to talk about dreams and desires in connection with the idea of God telling you to do things. I used to think, and I grew up believing, as most Christians do, that God wants us to use our mind to figure everything out so that we can do all the things that He requires of us to do, like fulfilling the Great Commission as the Christians believe it. Go out into all the world and tell people about Jesus. And you see that a lot on the street where people are, like, you see it specifically in street preaching where people are out there telling people they're going to go to hell, and you see it in all the churches. It's the same idea. You are required to know things and do things with that knowledge. And the things that we desire to do, the things of the heart, are evil. That's what a lot of Christian groups like to say. Put aside those emotions, those feelings, those dreams and desires that you have, and go and do what God wants you to do. If you're honest and you consider yourself a Christian, you'll agree that this is what is taught. But I learned through the community of people that I had become a part of that the dreams and desires that you have in you because our daddy put them there, that I was designed intentionally to be this, and that I am enough. I was designed this way on purpose. And the things that come out of me are reactions to my situation. And I read the book Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate, and that really helped me understand that even more, that these parts of us that come out because of the way that we were brought up, and you could consider these to be generational curses, and that's what I do consider them to be. We get cursed lots of different ways in our life, from religion to the way that we were brought up in our family, and the only people that have control over it are the religious leaders. They have control of it because most of them understand what they are doing, and they intentionally do it to control you. The generational curses that we receive through our family is usually unintentional. I would say most of the time it's unintentional because our parents intended to love us, and they do love us. But all of these curses that fill our society made that kind of impossible to show and for us to receive that love. But the religious curses that we receive are intentional. But I realized that God designed me this way on purpose. So from that stage, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago when I understood this, that God designed me intentionally to be the exact way that I am. I started leaning into this idea of desires, and ever since then, I have become freer and freer, more and more free, as I have been doing the things that I desire to do. A lot of Christian things manifest themselves in extremely evil ways because when you're not with God, when you're with another God, like the Christian God is basically Baal, when you're with him, it comes out in really nasty, dirty ways that only curse people inside that system even more. And that is what is happening within Christianity. There's very few good Christians. You just see it all over the place. There are pretty much none. And so that understanding that my dreams and desires are good because I'm with him and he designed me to have them really gave me some freedom. And then this idea, I want to link it with this idea of God wants me to do things in my life. I have realized that that is actually not true at all. God doesn't require you to do anything except for be yourself and follow those dreams and desires that he put into you. So I have heard so many times in my life inside of Christian systems that don't do it unless God tells you to, because you could get off the path. You don't want to get off on the wrong path, or you don't want to do the wrong thing so that you're not with God anymore. But that doesn't work. It can't be that way. If you are with him, you will flow into those good things that he designed you to be. So I've heard it so many times on both sides of it, where people say, I'm waiting for God to tell me what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. And also people use the idea that God told me to do this to validate the things that they want to do. And I think that idea of trying to validate your dreams and desires by saying, God told me to do this, is kind of silly. But it comes from the understanding that we can't do and be inside of those dreams and desires because it's ungodly. That is what the church and Christianity has made us have to do. A lot of people have to say, I believe that God told me to do this, so that everybody else around them will shut the fuck up, especially if it doesn't line up with the doctrine or denominational thinking that all these Christians have, because they're trying to box you up. The only way to be with God is by being yourself. That is the only way that you can be with God, is by truly being and understanding who you are as a son of the living God. That's the only way you can be yourself, and that's the only way that you can be with him. I just wanted to share that today, that there's not much point anymore saying, oh, I think God wants me to do this, because God doesn't give a fuck about what you do. He just wants you to be with him, and then he will be with you in those things that you dream and desire. So I've just leaned into those things that I want to do. And all of those things are good because when I'm with him, the things that I want to do are good. A relationship with somebody is very important. And what does a relationship mean? It means being in communication with that person, a conversation, a back and forth conversation. So just when you pray, that's not a relationship with God. You have to let him respond to you. It's not just continuously spewing out the things that you want. It's a back and forth. True faith is being in relationship with our daddy, telling him things and him responding to you. And that idea is not Christian at all. It's actually that's why I say that I'm not Christian. There's no way. I have repented from being Christian, because Christianity is, I have to fear my God. He's angry, and so I better not make him angry at me. He's up in heaven, so and I have to do all this work to make sure that his work gets done in this world, because he's not going to do it because I have to. A relationship is a communication between two people. You have to speak to him and he has to speak back to you. You have to be able to listen to him. So if this video gets any views, you wait and see what people say about that. That's another thing that they'll say that I'm a heretic for, that I believe we're meant to have communication with the living God. They won't like that, but it's a fact. If you want to be with God, you have to speak to him, and you have to allow him to speak back to you. So listening to God is very important. It's like in any relationship. If you're always spewing something out of your mouth, you cannot be in relationship. It's totally different. It's not relationship. It's just you telling other people what you want and never hearing them and never listening to them. A relationship is both ways. So yeah, be in relationship with him, and then great things will come. And I want to encourage you that your dreams and desires were put there by God. So if you have anything that you want to do with your life, lean into that. You don't have to jump right in and fight for it. Just be like, God, I really want to do this. And I know that you put this desire into me. So can you please flow me into this? And then pay attention to how he responds to you. Ask him for the next step to get there. He wants you to fulfill those dreams and desires. That's what a great daddy does. So like, if my son wants to do something, I help him do it, because that's what dads do. And he's the best dad that you could ever imagine. So I wanted to share that with you today. Don't ask him, and don't worry about getting off God's path for you. His path for you is for you to be yourself. So yeah, like always, this is my understanding. I don't know shit. So yeah, I really appreciate the comments, really appreciate everything. Even if you want me to die, please leave that comment. I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time.